What is going on, everybody? I am Rob Westerman III of GBP Daily, and thank you for tuning in to the Rob Westerman Show. You can find me all over social media at GBP Daily, and if you are not already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Like the video, throw a comment down in the comment section. Any interaction with the video, I would greatly appreciate it. It is Wednesday, October 16th, and I am pumped up to be talking Packers with you guys today. Our 4-2 squad looking pretty good, all things considered, with what's all happened this season. We've had kind of an exciting 24 hours in the Packers news sphere, and even in the former Packers news sphere. A lot has happened since I last talked to you just yesterday morning, a little over 24 hours ago. The Packers have indeed released kicker Brayden Narveson, and yeah, just with 6 weeks of being with the team. Excuse me. Tom Silverstein also reported yesterday that the release of Narveson is not going to impact Alex Hale, who is our practice squad kicker. So Brayden Narveson, time in Green Bay is over. He will not be brought back onto the practice squad. So yeah, tough break for Brayden. Was on the squad for 6 weeks. I know his in-laws and about half his family were huge Packers fans. They were from Wisconsin, so I'm sure that's a tough day for him and his family. But unfortunately, it is a results-driven business, and he was not performing to the standard that they were hoping as far as being a kicker for the Green Bay Packers. So he missed 5 of his 17 kicks, missed a 37-yarder against the Vikings, missed another kick against the Vikings. There's 6 points there. We lost by 2. Missed a kick in the Eagles' loss, and combine that with the non-converted 2-point try, we lost by 5. You do the math. So, yeah, unfortunately, on his front, just wasn't good enough. So, with that move, the Packers signed veteran kicker Brandon McManus. He played and won a Super Bowl with the Broncos in 2015. He was most recently with the Jaguars and then the Commanders as recently as this offseason before getting released due to some sexual assault allegations that were made against him. I have not done the research yet into that whole situation. And, yeah, I would assume the Packers have done more than enough due diligence or digging to ensure that everything was looking okay on that front before indeed signing him to the squad. Yeah, I'll have to do some more research and kind of look into that whole situation before I really could make any more comments on that. Kind of a sticky situation that he found himself in. Ended up getting released because of it. So hopefully that is going to get resolved? I have seen things where it's still kind of open. I don't know. All I know for sure is that the NFL has stopped their investigation on it. Didn't find anything that deemed a suspension or preventing him from playing at all. So yeah, I don't know. I'll have to do some more research on that and check it out for myself. Uh, I'm kind of surprised, honestly, by the release of Braden. I talked about it yesterday on the show, of course, and I thought the Packers were going to ride it out a little while longer with Braden, but they clearly thought different, and that's why I'm sitting here talking with you guys on a Wednesday morning from the comfort of my own office, as opposed to being at 1265 Lombardi making any sort of important decisions. They thought the time was now to move on. We're in sort of a window here to make a run for the Super Bowl, and yeah, they knew we couldn't afford to have a kicker be a crutch for us with how close games get down the road later in the season and down the road into the playoffs. So hats off to Goody for making a change, and now we can wait and see if it will indeed work or pay off. So that'll be interesting to watch for sure. Now, will he come out and make all of his kicks and hit all of his extra points this Sunday against the Texans? That's the magic question, isn't it? We shall see, and we're going to need him to show out. So can't afford to be missing any more chip shot field goals. Can't be leaving any more points on the board. He missed the field goal last weekend. Thankfully, we had the game in hand already. Otherwise, yeah, that would have been devastating to lose another game because of field goals. And I'm not saying those first, the two losses were because of field goals, but they definitely played a large part in the two losses so far this season. Let's hop in the chat here. And as always, if you want to be a part of the show and chime in, ask some questions on air, give me a call on the Nicolet Law hotline. Numbers on the screen, 319-242-2332. I'm taking calls right now. If you got something you want to talk about, Packers related, please give me a call. Join the show. Jared's in the chat starting us off. Was that the game on Sunday against Arizona? So fun to watch Evan Williams sprout right before our eyes. I completely agree, Jared. I was also at the game, and as always, it was an absolute blast. Evan Williams right now currently is the highest rated safety in the entire league, according to PFF. And I, for one, am somewhat taken back a little bit on how quickly he's acclimated in the NFL. It's a different ballgame up here. The hardest hit you get in high school is every single hit in college. The hardest hit you get in college is every single hit in the NFL. It's faster, and you guys know the drill. And he's walked in and performed great so far. I think you got to give a lot of credit to Xavier McKinney for Evan's development as well. He's taken Evan Williams and Javon Bullard under his wing and kind of showing them the way on how to be a great safety in this league. The Packers having one of the best safety rooms in the league is something I'm definitely not used to. The Darnell Savage days, the Rudy Ford days, nothing against those guys and the guys that came before them. But we're in a different spot right now, and they're a big part of why we're for it too. So, Jared, I completely agree. A lot of fun watching Evan Williams out there. And everybody says it. Reminds them of Micah Hyde. And yeah, I definitely see the comparison there. So, kind of reminds me of a little bit of Pina. Who's the guy for the Bears? Number 33, Tillman. Sorry, I had a blank there. Always going for the ball, always around the ball, forcing turnovers left and right. So, yeah, I absolutely love watching Evan Williams. Appreciate you, Jared. Have yourself a great Wednesday. Perry is in the chat. What's going on, Perry? Let's see what you got here. You know the Packers had to have looked into the Brandon McManus legal situation pretty deep before deciding to sign him. Yeah, Perry, I have not been able to really look into any of the details what went down with Brandon McManus. I know it was sexual assault, and that should never be taken lightly. But I think you're correct in the Packers for sure doing their due diligence within that whole situation before bringing him on the squad. I don't think they would have made that signing if there was any more questions up in the air. I guess we shall see if that was indeed the case. But yeah, I think the Packers did a lot of digging. I'll have to do a little more research on my end just to better acclimate to your questions because yeah, I just haven't looked into it a whole lot. So Perry, thank you for the question. I appreciate you tuning in. Liam, pumped to see the winter warning uniforms this weekend. Well, Liam, sorry. I am too. The helmets are absolutely sick. You gotta love these things. Those are sweet. It's got a little sparkle on there. The winter warning uniforms making their debut in the middle of October. I guess that kind of makes sense. The warning aspect. The winter's not here quite yet, but a little headshot of what may be to come. But yeah, it'll be sweet. Something a little different. I think the whole uniforms as a whole looks sweet. I think it's cool. A lot of people have issues with it. If it's got a G on the helmet, I don't care. And if it helps us win and the crowd's rocking all white and it's loud, then I'm all for it. So, yes, I do know the Packers are wanting fans who are going to the game on Sunday to wear white to kind of emulate a whiteout at Lambeau. So if you're going to the game, be sure to rock your white gear, white jerseys, white everything. They've got some sweet-looking white apparel, the winter warning stuff available at the Packers Pro Shop. I checked some of it out this past weekend. Didn't pull the trigger, but it does look pretty sweet. So, Liam, thank you for the comment, and have yourself a great Wednesday. Jorge's in the chat. I know I'm late, but I went to the Packers-Rams game, and it was live. All the Rams fans said it was a Green Bay home game. Jorge, pretty freaking sweet, right? Jordan Love was talking after the game and said, yeah, our fans are the best in the league, which we already know, and they traveled great. We always do. And, yeah, it was bumping out there in L.A., and it was a live crowd last weekend at home, too. Even with the rain, the cold weather, everything was pretty sweet. So shout out to the fans who showed up and was loud, including myself. I was indeed loud. So, Jorge, I hope you enjoyed the game, my man. Thanks for hopping in the chat. Phil, my man, Phil, in the chat. Morning, Rob. Thoughts on Houston unloading Cam Akers to Minnesota? Jones more injured than we think? Question mark. Phil, yeah, you'd kind of have to think that those two things are a little related, at least maybe a little bit. But I think that's why, one of the main reasons the Packers moved on from Aaron Jones was because of his injury issues. Obviously, Aaron can't control that. He was a menace on the field when he was on the field. But at the end of the day, availability is the best ability in the NFL. And unfortunately for Aaron Jones, and unfortunately for us, while he was with the team, he missed quite a lot of time due to injury. So, yeah, Cam Akers heading to Minnesota. So I wonder, if that indeed has to do with something with Aaron Jones' injury. If it's more serious than we think, I'm not sure. But, I would pair those two together, Phil. I'm with you. Omer in the chat. Appreciate you, my man, for watching over on YouTube. Green Bay Packers, Rob, rocking Packers Nation after Green Bay's dominant win versus Arizona. This week, the game we all have marked on the schedule, Stroud versus Love, chance to finally gain a game on either the Lions or Vikings. And yes, we can gain a game on one of those teams because the Lions and the Vikings are playing each other. So, one of those teams is going to lose, and I think it's going to be the Vikings. The game's up in Minnesota. The Lions just smacked the Cowboys last weekend. They did lose Aiden Hutchinson to a devastating leg injury. I saw the video once. I'm not going to ever look at it again. But I still think the Lions are a legit threat within the whole NFC and clearly, obviously, in the NFC North. So, yeah, that'll be a good game. And for us, a chance to beat the Texans to gain a game on one of those teams. So, give me the Lions over the Vikings this weekend. Thank you, Omer, for hopping in the chat. Let's get on to the fact of the day. I think you guys are going to like it. It is a good one. All right, your fact of the day. Xavier McKinney notching in with a PFF grade of 90.5, along with Evan Williams notching in at 91.4, are PFF's highest graded safeties in the entire NFL. It's been a while since we've had a top safety room, or I guess anything other than pretty much bottom of the barrel safety play. And in one season, just one season, the Packers turned it around. They're sitting at the top of the league, a 1-2 finish, at least so far through 6 weeks in the safety rankings. Evan Williams being the highest safety rank or safety in the entire league, and then Xavier McKinney right behind him at number 2. So, yeah, Goody signed Xavier this offseason to a pretty big deal, and that is more than paying off. I know he didn't get his pick this past weekend to go for 6 straight, but he's got 5 picks on the year, which is still insane. And like I was talking about earlier, Evan Williams just hopped right into our defense from the get-go, pretty much starting a few games back, and it's playing great. So I love it. I love it. Goody signing Xavier this offseason, then double dipping in the draft with Javon Bullard and Evan Williams, instantly fixing that safety room for the foreseeable future. You love to see it. Shout out to TickPick for partnering up with myself. I used TickPick this past weekend. Had nothing but a great time. And yeah, they're the cheapest tickets on the ticket market, guaranteed. If you use my code Packers20 at checkout, you get $20 more off your ticket order. So yeah, it's cheapest tickets guaranteed. It's as simple as that. If you find tickets elsewhere that are not as cheap as theirs, or that are more expensive or cheaper than TickPicks, they'll reimburse you 110% of your money. So check them out. Download the app. Use the code Packers20 at checkout for $20 off. My man Rakeem in the chat. Hope you're doing great, Rakeem. Happy Pack Wednesday to the GOAT, Rob. I don't know if I'm getting excited early, but a new kicker with over 1,000 career points is wild. Finally, a kicker with some serious accolades behind him. Absolutely, Rakeem. I talked about it earlier. He won a Super Bowl with the Broncos. So, and I wouldn't say he's a household name for kickers, but if you're an average NFL fan, over the last decade, you know who Brandon McManus is. And like you said, with over 1,000 career points, to be able to sign him off the street to hopefully solve our problems, you love to see it. So I talked about his situation on why he was on the street in the first place a little bit earlier. But hopefully the Packers, and I assume they did, do their due diligence within that situation. I know there's a lot of arguing going on about it. But if the Packers think it's the right move and everything's okay to move forward, then who am I to argue with that? And I also haven't done any research, so I probably should look into it a little more before speaking more on that. And hopefully that doesn't become a conversation later down the line. So, Rakeem, thank you for hopping in the chat, my man. Have yourself a great Wednesday. Let's see here. Omer, hit that like and subscribe button. We really appreciate it, you guys. Instagram or the YouTube link to my channel is in all the social bios. We really appreciate you subscribing to the channel. I'm kind of shifting everything over to YouTube as the weeks go on. So we appreciate you guys joining me over on YouTube. Omer did miss an extra point in 2023. It was almost automatic inside 50. And yeah, I also saw some folks talking about the comparison in the percentage of field goals that he's hit in his career compared to Anders and what he did during his rookie season. And believe it or not, Anders Carlson has a higher make percentage than Brandon McManus does. Obviously, a lot smaller sample size the one season compared to the over a decade of kicking for Brandon McManus. But nonetheless, pretty similar as far as the kicking percentage. But yeah, I think it was more so of the fact that the Packers want to be sure that they hit these kicks that are under 40 yards, under 45 yards, more often than not. And Braden Arbison couldn't do that. So he was 5 for 9 in kicks between 40 and 49 yards. And never attempted one longer than 49 yards. So I think that's kind of the reasoning behind deciding is, hey, I want somebody to hit the extra points. I want somebody to know. I want to know that I want to have somebody that I know is going to hit those kicks, 45 and in on a perfect weather. So, yeah, Omer, I appreciate you tuning in, my man. Thank you for the little tidbit there. What else we got? Haley. This weekend is the matchup of the year so far, in my opinion. Well, Haley, I think I would have to agree with you there. The Packers started to kind of click and get on a roll here, especially the offensive side of the ball. The defense has been playing pretty well all season long. And then obviously the Texans, they're one of the best teams in the league, 5-1. They got C.J. Stroud over there, one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. A lot of playmakers on that offense. It'll make for a fun game. Stephon Diggs, we all know and remember him too well. In his Vikings days, he seemed to torch us just about every time we played him. And once he left the division, I was super happy because, yeah, we struggled against Stephon Diggs. They got Nico Collins over there, Tank Dell, and I think Joe Mixon at the running back spot. So a lot of playmakers on that offense. It's going to make for a fun game. Hopefully our defense can continue to play their A game and force a few turnovers. But it's going to be a battle for sure. So with that being said, give me Packers 34, Texans 26. Looking. That's a good place to stop, right? That is going to do it for me today. As far as the show goes, thank you guys for tuning in. But as you know, the content never stops. I'm always posting anything Packers related all day long, all the social channels. So be sure to follow me at Jude Daily. And if you are not, please subscribe to the YouTube channel at Jude Daily as well. I would greatly appreciate it. I will be back and at it again tomorrow. And I look forward to seeing you guys then. And until then, I will catch you guys later. Thank you.